Hello, welcome to season 5 of the Digital Rights Africa podcast, where we talk about everything privacy and data protection, child online protection, intellectual property rights, cybersecurity, and data governance issues across Africa. I am your host, Teki Akuetteh, and this afternoon we have the honor of being joined by the National Commissioner of the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, Dr. Olatunji. You're very welcome to join us on the Digital Rights Africa podcast.
It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
It's really exciting because this is actually the first time we have the Nigerian regulator here. We've had a few others, and we are really excited to hear all about what is happening on the continent. And in fact, across Africa now, Nigeria is being touted as one of the leading innovators when it comes to data protection. And I'm very excited to have you here and to hear all about it.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a bit more about what is happening in your space, where you've come from and where we are today?
Thank you very much. As we're all aware that the world is going digital, and the foundation to digital transactions is all about digital ID, personal ID. And each time you go online to interact for businesses, for socials, for interactions, and for so many other things, we leave a digital footprint. It's all about personal data in terms of our names, our telephone numbers, even our IP addresses, anything that could be used to identify us as a natural person. Now, with the EU GDPR coming into effect in 2018, and with the level of digital advancement in Nigeria, we actually came up with the regulation in 2019.
Yes.
That was the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation, and that was under the Nigeria IT Development Agency. I happened to chair the committee that put up the regulation, and at the point of implementation, we had a small unit under the department that I was supervising then to implement the data protection regulation in Nigeria. And we did that for about a year. I'm just glad that what we needed to do was to have a national law and for us to have an independent body for effective implementation. And we made the recommendation to the former president, who approved that we should move out of DIDA as a bureau for two major things. One, to implement the NDPR issued by NITDA, and two, to ensure that we put into place a national legislation for data privacy and protection in Nigeria. And we started as a small bureau, no budget, no personnel, no plan, nothing. But we were able to work with a lot of stakeholders to come this far, that within 1 year, we were able to really launch out, especially the area of awareness, which is really key, because then the level of awareness in data privacy in Nigeria was very low, very poor. Yeah. And we also looked at human capital development, and we saw that relying on government funding alone would be a challenge. So we actually approached a lot of development partners and stakeholders in the ecosystem to support us. So in implementing the NDPR, we ensured that we worked with stakeholders. And we started by even licensing data protection compliance organizations, DPCOs. We started, it was just an experiment with just 17 organizations who we identified as experts in data privacy, and it increased to 27 to 70. By the time we were living in that, we had 103 licensed DPCOs. And to the largest, I would say that they really contributed to the traction that we gained in the country. Also, we did a lot in the area of human capital development. We worked with a lot of multinationals. You were at the point, you were even one of our resource persons then to build the capacity of our staff. Then we now looked at the law itself. We were lucky to work with we approached the World Bank, AFD and AIB. They were funding the digital ID ecosystem in Nigeria, and the law, the Nigerian Data Protection Law, was a condition to unlocking fundings for the digital ID in Nigeria. So they were happy to support us. We had several workshops, something about 8. We workshopped the drafts of the law with a lot of groups, private sector, public sector, and development partners, and which we now send to the Federal Assembly Council. It was approved as a national policy, and from there, the former president sent it to the National Assembly. And because we had worked up with the National Assembly members, within 1 month, the two houses were operated by bicameral legislation in Nigeria, the Senate and the House of Reps. They passed a concurrent bill within 1 month, which was really unprecedented in Nigeria, and that was a turning point for us. However, the former president could not sign the law, but the bill before he left. So he left on the 29th, the law got to him on the 26th, just 3 days. But because of arrangement around transition and so on, he couldn't sign. So it was a big dilemma for us when he left, he couldn't sign. But good enough, when the new president came in, we scheduled for his accent. And within 2 weeks of coming to office, he signed the law. And that speaks to two things. One, the fact that there is continuity in the data privacy ecosystem in Nigeria. Two, we're now given an instrument of operation. But with the Bureau, we did have a law. We're just set up by President Fiat. But now we now have a law properly empowering us to implement data privacy protection in Nigeria. And the law actually now created the commission. It now transitioned from a bureau to a commission. And what we did immediately after the law was signed by Mr. President was to develop a roadmap. Because one thing for you to have the law, it's a completely different thing to be able to implement the law. So we developed a roadmap. Again, work with a lot of stakeholders to say, okay, this is the law in Nigeria. How should we implement? What is the best way of implementing this law? And we're able to identify 5 major pillars. One is on governance. And what kind of governance structure do we have for data privacy in Nigeria? The law itself and the privacy policy organizations, what are they putting in place to ensure that it's proper governance structure for privacy in the country and individual organizations and ministries and public sector organizations. 2, look at awareness and human capital development, that was very low. 3, ecosystem and technology, that is what kind of indigenous technologies can we develop locally to drive awareness, to drive our processes within the commission, to drive investigation, to drive a lot of things. And the 4th one is the cooperation and collaboration. And to a large extent, these are also contributed to what we will do, is saying that we see partnership as a key strategy of achieving our aims. Cooperating with other ministries, departments, regulators in Nigeria, to let them see data privacy. When we approach them, we approach from the point of adding value to what they are doing. Not just issuing a regulation, a law that they must obey. And also development partners, other countries. We visit Ghana, visit Kenya, visit Canada, ICO in the UK, to learn from them. And that's the largest. And regulators in different sector. Like, for instance, the gaming sector in Nigeria, we have about 60 million Nigerians into one game or another every month. The SMEs, we have about 40 million SMEs in Nigeria. The insurance people, the financial sector, central bank, telcos, NCC. We have now developed a kind of relationship with them, and we have MOU that we sign with all of them on how to deepen privacy in their different sectors. Then the last one is funding and sustainability. From my experience when we are moving around talking to DPS, a major challenge is funding.
Especially for
Africa. So we now, part of what we put in law was that neither NCC and federal government, they should fund up for the first 2 years. After the 3rd year, we should be able to have enough money
So they weaned you off?
Yes, they did, but not as much as we expected. It was a big struggle for us.
To be weaned off?
No, for at least to be supported fully in terms of funding. So, but with the work that we do with a lot of development partners, private sector organizations, we're able to come this far. And with all this, we're able to increase the level of awareness in the country, we're able to increase the level of skilled manpower in the area of data privacy. But what we are trying to do now is for a lot of people to see it as a new career path. Since we are many in Nigeria, there are about 500,000 data controllers and processors that we have identified. And Section 32 of our law says that each of them must have a DPO. And in Nigeria, at that point, we're less than 5,000 certified DPOs. So there is need for us to build capacity to build that huge gap. So we have really considered highly on that. Also, to ensure that in terms of registration of data controllers and processors, that has really increased too. Maybe I should give the figure now.
Yes, please.
Okay, when we started, and I said, we're just about, less than 5,000 skilled personnel in data privacy and protection. But as you speak, we have over 10,000.
Wow.
But those who work within the ecosystem, they are more than 23,000 now.
Wow.
Within 3 years. Also, when we started under NINDA, the first year, in terms of registration and audit filing, we received just 630. But at the last count this year, in terms of registration, we are doing over 37,000.
Yes.
Data controllers and processors. In terms of audit for data controllers of major importance, from 630 also, we are doing over about 4,800 now.
Wow.
In terms of revenue to government, we've earned about $5 million.
Wow.
Within 3 years.
You're very rich. I should get closer to your commission.
But we don't have access to the money yet. And in terms of the ecosystem itself, because of the PP model that we are using, we have licensed about 300 data protection compliance organizations.
Okay.
What they do is to carry out compliance as a service to data controllers and processors. And each of them will employ between 5 and 10 staff, depending on the number of clients they have and the size of the organization that they are trying to help through compliance. So in terms of job creation, this has created massive jobs.
Doc, this is very, very exciting and interesting to hear how you're working with different institutions, how you're collaborating with private sector and all of that. At the Africa Digital Rights Hub, we've really been looking into, the outcome-based collaborative regulatory framework approaches. And we're researching into this as possibly a way of enabling broader digital rights implementation across Africa. And I can't help but think, you're probably on that path. And I want to understand, that focus on how you build that collaborative framework to enable you work effectively with all these critical stakeholders.
I think the most important thing is the approach. For a lot of regulators, if you are coming to regulate them, there's a pushback. They're like, oh, no, this is my own mandate, this is my own stuff. You can't come and tell me what to do. But when you're approaching them, you're approaching them from the level of collaboration.
Exactly.
And we want to add value to what you are doing. In the morning, a lot of issues around trust.
Yeah.
Now, telling them that this will enhance trust, people will have more confidence and trust in what they are doing. For the business, this will enhance their businesses. For instance, the gaming sector.
Yes.
As I said, there are about 60 million Nigerians are into one gaming or the other every month. When we approached them, we actually spoke to the DG of the regulatory body to say this is what is happening, and you have a lot of data that people are processing within your ecosystem. If you do A, B, C, D, even in the international community, people will respect your ecosystem.
It's interesting because I think Nigeria calls it value. In an OBCR framework, it's called outcome. So you go to a regulator and then you say, this is what you are trying to achieve, right? And then you find common outcomes or common goals, and invariably makes working
with them. What we usually do is when we approach them, we set up a meeting. We are not saying that you come to us. We will go to them.
Yes.
Explain all these things. Build a foundation before our ask.
Yeah.
We build a foundation and what is happening globally and in Africa. I will now push specific asks to them. And there we'll ask for a working group with them. We'll tell them we don't understand your ecosystem. You are the experts here.
Yeah.
What are your main concerns?
So you're working
the area
very
of protecting
close with them.
The people you are working with, even protecting yourself as a CEO. We'll let them know there are penalties for non-compliance. Even as a CEO appointed by government, you could be prosecuted. Yeah. So we don't want that for you. We want to support you in what you are doing. Yeah. Let's have a working group. Your team, our team, they sit together, develop an MOU. We both sign an MOU and we put it in the media. So everybody, they signed an MOU. The next thing is how do we make it work? Wow. I'm going to encourage them. I think it's difficult. You have to continue to push. But from my own experience, the the feedback has been good. That even now, when they are talking of regulations in their sector, they still contact us. They say, I have data privacy. And some of them, even their vendors now, they'll tell them, please go and comply with data privacy law before we can do business with you. It has gone to that level in Nigeria. And more importantly, we have a very strong political will from the highest level, from Mr. President.
I love that.
But when we saw that the level of compliance in the private sector was very poor, he gave a directive that all ministries, all departments and agencies must comply. So when we approach some of the regulators, that is the first thing we put, this is a directive from Mr. President. And we also work with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, that is like the Secretariat of all ministers, Head of Civil Service of the Federation. We obtained internal memo from them, directing all MDs to comply too. So by the time we are going there, we are going with our law, with our roadmap, with our report of activities, the memo from SGF, memo from Head of Service, directive from Mr. President. These are the things that. So eventually, we are armed, but in a very calm and persuasive way, collaborative way that we are partners in progress. We are all supporting the government to succeed.
That's quite really interesting. I just want to hear more about externally in terms of how are you doing collaborations between Nigeria and other countries? Is there something like that happening, particularly with the other regulators, and how's that going as well?
What for most of these regulators out in Nigeria, mainly what we ask for is knowledge exchange. We don't claim to know it all. We want to hear from you, your own experience in your own country. We share our own experience too, and we see how we can change ideas. Two, mutual legal assistance because of the scope of our law. The scope of our law it covers data controllers and processors domiciled in Nigeria and processing data of Nigerians. Also covers data controllers and processors outside Nigeria, processing data of Nigerians. How do you want to enforce the law in a foreign country? So we have to work with the regulators. If there's any issue, we'll discuss with them. These are the issues. And
how are you actually enabling that? Because I find that a lot of the data protection regulators we've had in this seat have found that challenging. So how is it on an MOU basis? Is it,
As we speak, we have MOU with Office of the Privacy Commissioner in Canada.
Okay. Oh, wow.
We are with Dubai.
Okay.
We have actually visited ICO. We have discussed with them. We are working on their MOU. And now coming to Africa, at the level of NATPA, that is where the collaboration is. We have different working groups. Nigeria heads the legislation harmonization working group. And we're trying to see the legislation in all the different countries that put in place their laws. What are the areas of disparities? How can we support one another? So we are trying to put that through NATPA. So more importantly, with the spirit of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, to say without proper harmonization, AFCTC cannot work. And all of us are seeing from that perspective and pushing from that perspective. If I need anything from any of the regulators in Africa now, it's just a matter of a phone call from them. This is what is happening here. This is what is happening. Can we discuss? And to a large extent, that has really, I think, approach personal relationship with a lot of them to a large extent will really support them.
Thank you so much, Doc. Any final words for our audience cut across, various stakeholders? So any final parting words, maybe from your experiences, and then also to the citizens of Africa or Nigerians?
What I would just say is that protecting the privacy of citizens is everybody's business. We don't look at it as it's just for government alone. Because all of us are data subjects. It's all about us. So we should look at ways of working together to make compliance become a culture. So even data controllers, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, no matter how powerful they are in some countries, they should see compliance as a culture. It protects the citizens. It also enhances their businesses. It enhances trust and confidence in whatever they're doing. It enhances global competitiveness of our businesses. There are some countries now, or some multinationals that if they're coming to your country, if you don't have a data protection law and an independent data protection authority, they will tell you they can't come. It has gone to that level globally. So in our case, that we're just evolving We need to really see how we can work together. And even, for instance, our own target in Nigeria is to make Nigeria the hub for skilled privacy personnel.
Yeah.
And you can't do that without working with other people.
Yeah.
So all of us, as part of what we discussed this morning, cooperation, collaboration, see all of us as partners working towards the same goal of protecting the rights, the interests and freedom of all Africans. I believe that is the only way we can work. At the level of EU, their population is about 500 million. And you can imagine how strong they are, their economy, their people and everything. And Africa, we're talking about 1.4 billion people. You can imagine how powerful we're going to be in the whole world if we're able to work together and see ourselves as one.
Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us. All too soon, we have come to the end of another episode where we were joined by the Nigerian Data Protection Commissioner, Dr. Olatunji, and I couldn't have said it better. Data protection is everybody's business. And so as a continent, we need to foster the right relationships to make this happen. Thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to you joining us next time.